Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, today we are going to discuss the Formula Award, and this is basically 40th part till 49, till 39. Basically, we have discussed lots of things about the Formula Award. Basically, how many how many categories from how many set of categories basically the Formula Award came into picture. How many attributes are created on the base of how many categories basically and how many set of attributes gets into formula basically, and each and everything basically we have already discussed. Now basically we are going to discuss a little bit more about the cyber security, basically cyber industry, and how cyber industry is getting in touch with the formula industry basically. It's basically, you can say, the formula industry also basically, because formulas are basically one set of categories basically. Each and every, for example, iron industries, they have set of rules and regulation that gets that they have some certain profit and loss basically. They are using their softwares, they are using the softwares basically, then basically the profit and loss are calculated in the iron industry, that basically connects with the software industry, and due to that basically formula gets effect, and the attributes also gets effect. So like this basically there are lots of things basically in this formula word basically. So today basically here basically in this part, basically that is 40 part, we are going to discuss little bit more about the formula word that is basically connected with the cyber industry basically. Cyber industry basically means, you can say, cyber industry basically don't have their own rules basically. Whatever rules they gets, they implement it. For example, the word set of words basically I have told that are basically given by set of group basically, set of police department also, you can say, set of groups basically, you can say, a few names basically that are basically created as a issue word basically, you can say issue name also. If you are searching that word in that search engine, then basically the ticket and the issue gets raised basically. Then basically set of actions happens, and then lots of things basically happen basically. So here we are discussing about the formula word, and in this formula basically we are going to discuss the cyber security and the cyber industry basically. And in cyber industry basically we are discussing about the set of industries basically. Set of industry means iron industry, copper industry, steel industry, plastic industry, iron industry. Then basically it's oil industry, foods industry, basically human needs industry. Like this basically each and every industries are there, and they have some certain rules and regulation. So whatever rules and regulation they have, they basically directly pass to the cyber industry basically, because on the base of the rules which they have passed, the set of information they have passed, according to that basically the cyber rules gets creates basically, you can say. Few basically cyber industry directly creates the same rule basically which they have passed. They got the information because that industry itself, it's very tough basically to care to translate each and every words, each and every things, each and every paragraph, then create the law basically. That gets lots of complication. That's why few industry basically directly they sets the law according to the information passed. But basically few industry are not so tough, so basically they gets the user stories from the each and every industry, like iron industry, copper industry, steel industry, and they basically creates the set of laws of the cyber industry. And then basically because each and every word, each and every things you processed in the computer, that basically generates the energy from the computer, and that is going to affect to the environment basically. And that energy which is getting out from the computer, that basically sometime power companies basically takes that energy. So here basically whenever you are telling that the energy is getting out and somebody is taking that energy, then basically that energy is getting used in the human needs basically, you can say. So but that's why basically if the human needs that energy which is getting used, that is which is getting passed from the computer, if that is getting used, then basically it and if that is getting used, and if that is getting into nuclear process basically, and then basically it gets into the human needs basically. That also foods industry use that, then basically it creates a lots of issue because it generates blood cells basically. And if that in energy basically which was got out from the computer that creates any problem basically, then basically you have to search when that in the energy gets into your body, and that time basically it creates any problem, then that time basically you have to search basically for which bad category basically, no sorry, which category, due to which category this and this blood cells had got damage or got some effect basically. So according to that basically you have to, according to that condition basically you have to search the diagram and the algorithm which is basically created by each and every industry basically. So according to that basically create, you have to search the medicine and lots of things basically happen, because each and every algorithm basically each and every industry has created, and according to that industry algorithm which is created, that basically cyber security also have, because cyber security says that we have to create each and every law, each and every rules and regulation, because whenever the energy gets into body, that time basically if anything damage is happened, that time basically cyber security groups have to give the answer basically from where this basically, because it's a computer energy basically which has generated the energy. So basically cyber security groups are responsible for, so basically the cyber security groups have to give the answer basically, you can say, because this answer basically few questions basically will be asked by the set of groups basically, and that time basically cyber security groups only have to give the answer, because cyber security groups are the middleware basically. They takes care of the each and every energy which is getting out from the computer according to the process which is done by the set of group basis, set of people basically who are sitting in the computer. That time basically here basically we have told that how basically formula words is getting into cyber cell also, cyber security also. Now basically we are going to discuss little bit more about the one one nice topic, but basically that is a very nice topic. Just a minute, I will just have some water. So basically, we were discussing that this is basically which I am discussing. That is basically totally new. Basically, you can say. For example, I will take one example. This is actually, for example, mm, I will take one example. Basically, that relates to the war. Basically, for example, there is one war ongoing. That is basically UK and Russia war. So basically, if there are set of certain missiles basically that get blast into that area. So basically, from set of missiles basically, few some with the set of some missiles equipment basically, the big blast can't happen basically. For that basically you have to basically power company and energy company have already setted the environment in the entire area basically. According to that basically it get big blast basically, you can say. So this is basically connected with very highly, basically you can say, if anybody want to track basically is anything happening, is the anything is going to happen to that area or not. So if that anybody want to track, then basically this is the way basically you can track the thing basically. So basically this is fact. If any power if any big incidence is going to happen, then basically that environment has settled with the help of power companies and energy company basically. That basically nobody will disclose basically whether the which power company has settled, which group has settled. That basically it's very difficult to tell basically. So basically this was about the little bit about the power and energy companies power basically, you can say. And this is also basically connecting to the into the formula industry. This is basically we have given one name basically, that is powerful, sorry, formula industry. Basically I have given this name as a power formula industry basically, you can say. So this is one industry basically, you can say, where basically each and every things are calculated, each and every stuffs are calculated on the base of set of algorithm. So basically each and every industry that is basically iron industry, copper industry, steel industry, plastic industry, then water industry, food industry. Each and every industry have their own algorithm, and according to the algorithm, basically they have set of rules and regulation also. So that, for example, from this is the algorithm, this is basically going to generate this data. So according to the generated data and going to generate data, what are the things going to happen in the energy, in the environment, basically what are the effect going to happen, and what are the effect going to happen in the human body if this body takes that data. Then basically what are the things going to happen in the another body person, because for example three people are standing and talking with each other, and that person basically who got that energy, it might possible that that person basically who are talking with him, basically that are two-person, that body is also going to affect, basically that is going also going to generate the this energy basically which the person is having. So like this, basically each and every things are correlated. So basically each and every industry basically have their own algorithm, and up to what level the categories, that for example iron industry have some certain energy, and up to what level the energy is going to do the stuff, basically that stuff basically is one algorithm, set of stuff, basically you can say set of up to what level the iron energy is going to affect to the each and every sector, basically you can say that is sector, basically you can say set in in human body, basically what is going to affect sector, basically you can say it's not sector, basically you can say you can take this word as a in human body parts, in environment, basically in place, basically you can say in place, basically you can say if it's a human body, that is one place, basically the environment, basically that is one place, basically. So each and every place, basically what are the effect going to happen, so that entire effect, basically that basically effect which is going to happen due to their industry data, that basically they have created one algorithm, and that algorithm basically has created according to this and that algorithm is going to return set of rules and regulation, and according to the rules and regulation the set of data are passed and data are getting in, like this basically lots of things happen. So that basically are also taken into the cyber security, because few algorithm are so big to translate in the cyber industry level, cyber industry language, that basically becomes very tough. So basically they directly dumps the algorithm into the cyber industry, but that basically might create problem in cyber industry, because cyber industry have to create their own regulation and rules and only, because it might possible that few things sometime gets creates problem. So that's why basically the good thing is basically cyber industry have to create their own rules and regulation according to that, because cyber industry also have should have some uh, their own power, basically you can say. But the overall the rules basically for the each and every sector, basically it's a one rule only which gets applied to each and every people. So basically here basically we are discussing the 40th part, basically that is basically you can say the formula word, that is basically cyber industry, which is getting cyber industry, which says that we are taking each and every sector into our into the cyber security cell, basically. Like this we are stopping about we are stopping here in this video. Basically we have discussed lots of things about the cyber security, and lots of important things also, which can be basically you can say which will help which will help basically to lots of people, basically which is going to help to lots of sector also. Lots of sectors are going to get help from this video, basically you can say. So we are stopping here. We'll basically 41st part, which we are going to discuss a little bit more about the cyber security and the formula